What's up, guys? We're here with Thursday night NFL football action between the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers in Week 2. We're going to do a deep dive on this matchup, look at some player props, look at our favorite bets against the spread and over-under, and we're going to dive in and break down every single game here on the MLB slate on Thursday. So buckle up, we've got a great video for you today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, was an unmitigated disaster for us on the YouTube side, bricking that no-run first inning on the Milwaukee Texas Rangers game. Two great starters completely just doing terrible out there. We had a push on our overplay on that Arizona-San Francisco game. Seymour had a transcendently bad start, but somehow we see only a push in that 5-3 win there for Arizona. We had Toronto at -125, a brutal 3-2 loss there for the Blue Jays, thanks to a top of the ninth home run there from Diaz. After the Blue Jays rallied there in the 8th, Toronto wasted a pretty solid start there from Barrios, but Alexander was completely lights out there for the Astros. We rolled with the Nationals at +140, a pretty big underdog play. They take the 8-3 loss, unfortunately. The Marlins offense finally woke up, and despite Irvin being pretty decent, the bullpen was terrible, and the Miami bullpen had one of its best days in recent memory. We also took a very unfortunate loss on our lock of the day. We had the Yankees at -170, the best start in months there from Flaherty for the Tigers. Their bullpen was great. The Yankees bullpen was horrible. Rodon had a pretty solid start, but their bullpen gave up 9 runs. And yeah, we see Detroit earn another blowout win in that one. So about as bad of a day as you can get, almost. We're going to try and bounce back here. Not nearly this kind of day for the premium members, so we'll be breaking that down here in a bit, but we're going to dive in. We've got a very exciting Thursday night football game to cover here between two of the most exciting teams in the league right now. We've got the Washington Commanders heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers. The Commanders came out in Week 1 and got a nice 21-6 win there over the Giants, so I'm sure they feel pretty good about how they started their season. Maybe not amazing. It wasn't the smoothest sailing necessarily. Jaden Daniels didn't throw the ball incredibly well. 19 of 30, 233 yards, 1 touchdown pass, sacked 3 times. Not necessarily amazing numbers for him. He did run the ball 11 times for 68 yards, but you kind of have to question how much he's going to be wanting to do that in the early season. I know that's part of his, like calling card and all that, but you don't want to get hurt early in the year. That would immediately sink this entire Commanders season. The running game looked pretty good. That's not a big concern. Deebo Samuel looking like a real football player again, catching 7 out of his 10 targets for 77 yards. That could be a pretty clutch acquisition there for the Commanders. McLaurin didn't really have a monster day, only caught 2 balls, so expecting maybe something of a bounce back from him, but the defense was good against the Giants. The offense, putting up 21 points, cool. Russell Wilson looked terrible for the Giants, so good job, Commanders, but I do feel like they probably held in check a horrible offense, and I don't know if that's something they can really count on here against the Green Bay Packers. Overall, I don't think there's too much to feel bad about really for the Commanders. If you are a little rusty in Week 1, that's fairly excusable. In terms of injury news, they emerged from Week 1 looking very, very healthy still. Not very many meaningful injuries there on offense at all. No one really banged up even. On defense, we do see their defensive end, Wise Jr. He is listed as questionable for this game. He was limited in practice on Wednesday, so we'll see if he actually ends up playing in this one. I would doubt he'll play his full increment of snaps, but I do think we'll see him out there at least somewhat. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, looking fairly healthy there. That's a good sign for the Commanders. The Packers come into this game after something of a statement win. It was only Week 1, but they looked really good in that 27-13 win there against the Detroit Lions. No problem at all with what I saw from Jordan Love. 2 touchdown passes, 188 yards passing, but he completed 16 of 22 attempts and was sacked 0 times. A very big deal there. Josh Jacobs did, need all 19 carries to get his 66 yards, but found the end zone once. Not a bad look there. Jordan Love did not have to run the ball much. A good sign. Not something you want him to have to do. It's always nice to have that option, but if he has to run the ball, that's a bit of a concern. No massive breakout performances from any specific wide receiver. Romeo Doubs did lead the way with 2 catches for 68 yards. Not bad there. We'll see. We'll see how things look. We'll see what Matthew Golden looks like down the stretch. See if Josh Jacobs is going to be a little bit more involved in the passing game. But overall, a very, very solid day offensively for the Packers. And the defense, maybe even better. They had 4 sacks and an interception there of Goff, who didn't have a horrible day aside from those numbers. What was really impressive to me is how completely they shut down the running game, giving up only, 46 total rushing yards on 22 attempts. The Lions are a team that's known for being able to run the ball, and they could not run the ball there against the Packers. So very, very good stuff there. They also forced that one turnover and only giving up, 3 points in the first half and then 10 points in the second half. Like, that is a dominant start to the season for that Packers defense. So loving a lot of what we saw from the Packers there in week 1. Here in week 2, we do have some injuries that we have to keep an eye on here. Aaron Banks on the offensive line, Zach Tom on the offensive line, both currently listed as questionable. Banks with that ankle, we don't really have a lot of clarity on whether or not he's going to play in this game. I would say it's more likely that he plays than that he sits, but it is early in the season. Tom, guys, that oblique issue, he's questionable for this game as well. I would lean towards him probably playing in this game, but obviously injuries on the offensive line can be a pretty big concern. Defensively, we only see a couple guys on there. Micah Parsons, obviously, only played less than half of the snaps last week, but I know he's questionable for this game. I fully expect him to play and to have an impact. If he plays more than he played in week 1, like, that's a huge bonus for this team. In terms of Nate Hobbs there, missing a cornerback can be a big deal. He is considered questionable for this game with that knee issue, so we'll see if he's able to make it out there on the field. I tend to think that he will play. If he doesn't, that's something we definitely have to be keeping an eye on. So, some injury news for sure there for the Packers. Looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Packers are 3.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 48 in this game. Looking at the weather, really nothing to take into consideration here, despite the fact they're playing at Lambeau. Very mild temperatures. We're looking at almost no wind in this game either, so really not a weather situation. Some trends for this game. Washington, they went 12-7-1 against the spread last year and obviously covered there in week 1. 13-7 to the over last season. Green Bay was 9-9 against the spread last year. They obviously covered in week 1 there against the Lions. They went 9-8-1 to the under last season. Guys, I'm going to be leaning towards the Packers here a decent amount. They are the home team, and playing on a short week, I think that favors them a little bit more. Historically, that is an advantage for the home team. The Packers did not play amazing in week 1, but well enough to get the job done, and Micah Parsons only played like half the snaps. If he plays more than half the snaps in this one, that's a big step in the right direction. Also, taking these favorites in these standalone games doesn't always feel great, but it has been working. So I'm going to side with the Green Bay Packers here a little bit at -3.5. I didn't love everything that I saw from Washington week 1. I just think they took advantage of a very weak opponent there in the Giants. Now, in terms of the total for this game, I'm leaning a bit towards the over. Despite the historical trends of unders being the play in these standalone primetime games, the over is actually 6-0 in the last 6 September games the Commanders have played as road underdogs. The over is 4-0 in the Packers' last 4 September games against NFC East opponents. So that's kind of my justification behind that overplay. Out of the two, I definitely think taking the Packers at -3.5 is better. You could wait on this and see if you can get it back down to 3. If you can get them at -3, that's obviously better than having the hook there to snare you. But I do think the Packers probably going to win this game by around a touchdown. Now, in terms of some player props for this game, first up, I'll take Terry McLaurin to score a touchdown in this one. Didn't have the best first game. I do think we're going to see the Commanders be down in this one, so I think him to score a touchdown in this one makes some sense. He has a touchdown in 9 of the last 10 Commanders road games, and they're going to need to be throwing it, and they're going to want to get him involved. Probably my favorite prop for this game, one of my favorite props for this game, is Josh Jacobs over 77.5 rushing yards at -115. He had 90 or more rushing yards in each of the Packers' last 6 games as favorites following a win, and obviously this dude is a huge part of what they want to do on a game-to-game basis offensively. So establishing the run going to be a big part of this game. I think we're going to see him pile up some numbers. Another play that I definitely think is very live, I'll take Jaden Daniels under 45.5 rushing yards at -110. I just don't think he's going to be able to run the ball all that much in this game. The Packers have a lot of athletes out there on defense that can maybe not match him, but contain him at least, and I think that's going to make his running game be at a little bit of a premium. But now, guys, before we jump over and shift into MLB gear, I want to take a second here to shout out the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link down there in the description to go over to StumpTheSpread.com and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, UFC, NFL, and college football picks. Major League Baseball has had an excellent season overall. Obviously, a crazy month of July. Didn't really go that great in August, but September, things have been rounding into shape once again as we see the playoffs approaching quickly. And NFL got off to a profitable week 1. And also, college football has been rolling right along, trying to get back on track there. Expecting big stuff this week. A ton of college football action just just got posted over there in the premium section, so definitely want to get in on that early so you don't miss out on the value of the early lines. Guys, the picks that you're going to see from me in these videos are not the picks you're going to see in the premium section over there at Stump the Spread, because I'm not the premium MLB handicapper or NFL handicapper or NCAA football handicapper over there at Stump the Spread. We have a team of experts covering every single sport. Each one has over a decade of experience covering his given sport. And guys, these dudes put in a ton of work on every single pick, not only in baseball where there's a crazy amount of statistics just right there at your fingertips, but they're digging deep in NFL and especially in college football where there is so many different players on a day-to-day basis. It's crazy how they keep track of that. They use some very sophisticated algorithms and tools, and they've got AI tools that are importing all these data points into these. There's just a lot of work goes in, and it's every single day, and they're really putting their best foot forward every single day to try to bring the best value to our premium members over there at Stump the Spread. So definitely check that out. Also, you want to get over there to see the free picks that are exclusively posted there, our free to use bet size calculator, and that's where you can get on our free email list. It's a fantastic resource. We get one email straight to your inbox every single day. It'll have at least one free pick in it. Oftentimes it'll have two free picks, information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, anything you can possibly imagine could end up in those free emails. Also, guys, those emails often have parlays in them. I know how much some of you love gambling on some parlays. So definitely get over there and check that out. In terms of our premium results for the 10th of September, it's looking pretty reasonable so far. Currently, the Pittsburgh-Baltimore no-run first inning, that one came through as a one-unit play. Baltimore also found a way to win that game as a half-unit play, so both wins there. The Braves, unfortunately, weren't able to come through, not getting the effort we were exactly hoping for there from the Atlanta Braves, but still have the Mariners live, so could be a 3-1 day after a 3-1 day there on the 9th. So very, very good stuff in the premium section. Also, if you're a huge fan of what we're doing here every single day, you can sign up for a YouTube channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. YouTube channel members are eligible for our members only giveaways. We do one of those every single week. There's another one coming up here in just a few days, and we'll be rolling the wheel. It'll have the name of every single YouTube channel member on it, and whoever it lands on will get a free Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to their address. Also, you get early access to all of our videos and get your name up on screen in every video, but I think the giveaways are what people are more interested in there. So definitely get in there, click that little join button right below the video if you're interested in becoming a YouTube channel member, but we got to dive back in. We've got a ton more games to look at on a very, very solid Thursday slate. First up, we're going to be looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates going on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. The Pirates come into this game kind of having a rough time. They've lost 5 straight games. They just lost 2-1 yesterday in a skiing start, and they're reportedly going to start managing his workload, which makes all the sense in the world. They've got nothing left to play for. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Johan Oviedo. He's 2-0 on the year, a 2.70 ERA, coming off an excellent start there against the Brewers. 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 unearned run allowed, and a 5-2 loss. Start for that, he was good against Boston. Start for that, he was good against the Cardinals. Like, the kid's throwing the ball well. Can you count on run support from the Pirates, though? Absolutely, you cannot. So we'll see how that goes. The Pirates' bullpen hasn't been anything too special either. A 4.06 bullpen ERA is fairly problematic. The offense, 1-2, 2, 1, and 2 over their last few games. This has been the worst team at the plate in the majors this year, and it's pretty bleak, guys. They're last in runs scored and last in slugging percentage. They're 28th in batting average. This team's got to find a way to get some bats around this decent pitching staff. We'll see if they can do that in the offseason, but right now they're confronting the Orioles, who are playing great. They've won the first 2 games of this series. They've won, what is it up to now, 7 of their last 8. They're still not in wild card contention, but they're starting to make their way that direction. They'll hand the ball in this one to KennyGPoker. This young 25-year-old is 3-7 on the year, a 5.16 ERA, coming off a pretty middle-of-the-road start there against the Padres, where he gave up 7 hits and 4 runs over only 5 innings of work. We did see the Orioles eventually win that game 7-5, but I'm not really going to be giving him too much credit for that one. He hasn't faced the Pirates yet this year, but KennyGPoker, not usually somebody I'm stoked to be backing, and neither is that Baltimore bullpen, a 4.43 bullpen ERA. Not great numbers there, obviously. The offense, 2-3-2, 4-2, and 7 over their last several games. It hasn't been the most hot hitting that we've seen here from the Orioles down the stretch. They're 20th in runs scored, they're 22nd in batting average, and it's been kind of depressing to see the direction this team has gone, after the, being an amazing team at the plate last year. Like, they were great this year, not so much. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Pirates are plus 125. The Orioles are minus 150. We've got a total of 8.5. The Pirates are 22-48 on the road, 42, 26, and 3 to the under on the road. Baltimore's 35 and 38 at home, 38, 33, and 2 to the under at home. I don't have much of a lean on the side in this one. I would maybe lean just barely towards the Pirates getting plus money here in what I expect to be a very close game, but better than that, I'll just take the under 8.5. We're not going to see a ton of offense from either one of these teams. I know neither bullpen is great, but neither offense is swinging the bats well enough for me to justify anything besides an under 8.5. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays heading to Chicago to take on the White Sox. The Rays won game 1, but then lost game 2 of this series. At 72 and 73 on the year, they're going to have to catch quite a heater if they want to end up playing in the postseason. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Ian Seymour. He's sporting a 2.89 ERA, but coming off a couple of pretty questionable starts. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 runs, only one of which was earned against the Nationals. Then he followed that up with 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, only one of which was earned against Cleveland. He's not throwing the ball great right now. We'll see what he can do against the White Sox, but I have a very low amount of faith in him right now. He actually had a kind of troubling appearance there against the White Sox back in late July. So worried about Ian Seymour in this spot for sure. The Tampa Bay bullpen, on the other hand, has been relatively good all year long. That has not been what's held this team back. A plethora of other issues have held this team back. One of the problems recently confronting the Tampa Bay Rays has been their lack of offense. I mean, they scored 5, 1, 2, 1, 4, and 9 over their last few games. They got to be a better team at the plate if they want to even threaten for a playoff berth. They're currently 14th in runs scored, 13th in slugging percentage, 7th in batting average, but 20th in on-base percentage. Like, just not doing a whole lot to get runs across the plate. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the White Sox, who have won 2 out of their last 3 and have been playing some better baseball here down the stretch. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Shane Smith, who's 5 and 7 on the year, a 3.95 ERA. This young 25-year-old's had some very, very positive appearances. Now, his last time on the mound, he struggled a bit against Detroit. The White Sox won that game 7-5, but he wasn't his sharpest, giving up 4 runs over 5 innings. But he's had some excellent outings through 7 innings of 1-hit ball against the Royals, 6 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs against the Yankees. Like, he's shown that he can pitch against pretty much anybody. We'll see what he can do here against the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't believe he's faced them this. No, he has not faced them yet this year. So we'll see how that looks. I'm expecting good stuff from Shane Smith, though, in general. Now, the bullpen for the White Sox has not been great. Kind of middle of the road to bad, a 4.10 bullpen ERA. The offense, 6.46, 0.7, and 11 over their last few. Somehow, this White Sox team has started to hit the ball. They're 26th in runs scored over the course of the year, but they're hitting the ball much better than that here recently. Do they have what it takes to put up some runs against Ian Seymour? Definitely. Against the bullpen of Tampa Bay, maybe not, but I do expect the White Sox to get on the board in this one. And looking at the numbers, guys, the Rays are minus 145. The White Sox are plus 125. We've got a total of 8 in this one. Tampa Bay's 34 and 36 on the road, 36, 32, and 3 to the under on the road. The White Sox are 31 and 43 at home, 40, 29, and 5 to the over at home. I actually think I want to lean a bit towards over 8 in this game. I think we'll see a good amount of offense, but I think a lot of that's going to come from the White Sox. I don't trust the Tampa Bay pitching situation in this game. I'll certainly be backing the White Sox, and getting them at plus 125 here feels like a pretty solid price. Rolling right along here, guys, we've got the Houston Astros heading to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. The Astros at 79 and 67 on the year are a game and a half up on Seattle and 2.5 games up on the Rangers for the top spot in the AL West. Getting that 3-2 win in Game 2 against the Blue Jays was pretty clutch. They'll hand the ball here in Game 3 to Christian Javier, who's 1-2 on the season, a 4.43 ERA. His last start, he got destroyed by the Yankees. That was a tough outing after a great start against the Angels, but yeah, not exactly 2 offenses that are on the same level. We'll see what this dude can do against the Blue Jays, but I think it's going to be pretty tough sledding for him. Obviously, the Astros bullpen has had very good stretches this year, but right now, up to a 3.73 bullpen ERA. I'm a little bit worried about them. I wouldn't say I'm a lot worried, but I'd say it's concerning a little bit. Now, the offense, 3-3-2. 11, 3, and 4 over their last few games. This just isn't a great team at the plate, guys. They're 6th in batting average, but they're 25th in runs scored. They're 15th in slugging percentage. Like, it's just all been a little bit brutal when you're watching the Astros at the plate. So we'll see what they do here on the road against the Toronto Blue Jays, who have lost 3 out of their last 4. They're still 3 games up on the Yankees and the Red Sox there in the AL East, but they've got to win some games down the stretch. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Kevin Gausman. He's 9 and 10 on the year, a 3.63 ERA, coming off a great outing against the Yankees. 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 run allowed. Very, very good stuff there. He had a great start against the Brewers and a start before that. I'm expecting him to have very little trouble here with the Houston Astros, a team that he faced back in late April and didn't have a very good time, but I think we're going to see Gausman look really, really good in this one. I'm a little bit worried about him having, kind of an extended outing there. The last time he pitched 8 innings, he followed up with a decent start against the Yankees, so maybe we shouldn't be too worried about him. We'll see. I do like Gausman here. The Toronto bullpen has been pretty hittable, though, so that is concerning. The offense has not been too hot recently either. 2, 4, 3, 1, 7, and 13 over the last few games. So maybe they're going to get back after it. It's got to happen eventually. They're still first in batting average and first in on-base percentage. So could they get after it here against Christian Javier and the Astros bullpen? Definitely seems like a possibility. Now, looking at the numbers, the Astros are plus 130. The Blue Jays are minus 155. We've got a total of 8.5 in this one. Houston's 36 and 35 on the road, a 500 over-under team on the road. Toronto's 46 and 25 at home, 42, 27, and 2 to the over at home. That's actually an MLB best to the over at home. While I'm not too interested in the total in this game, I will certainly be taking the Toronto Blue Jays here. I think they bounce back. I think we get a good start from Gausman. Am I a little bit worried about him coming off an extended start? Yes. So this might not make the lock of the day, but it's definitely going to make the pinned comment. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Washington Nationals heading to Miami to take on the Marlins. The Nationals took the 8-3 loss there yesterday, snapping a 5-game winning streak against the Marlins. At 16.85 on the year, they don't have anything to play for, and they'll be hitting the ball in this one to Mackenzie Gore. He's coming off of the IL there after that shoulder issue. He's 5-13 on the year, a 4.15 ERA. The last time we saw him on the mound was back on the 26th, so didn't spend that much time on the IL, and he was throwing the ball pretty well before going on the IL. Decent starts against the Giants, Phillies, Mets, and Yankees. We'll see what he can do here against the, not exactly amazing Miami Marlins. Has he faced the Marlins this year? Yes, he faced them back in mid-June and was okay. 6 innings, 8 hits, but only 2 earned runs allowed in a 3-1 loss. He also faced them in April and wasn't great in that one, so we'll see what we get from Mackenzie Gore here coming off the IL. It is a little bit troublesome looking at him coming off the injured list. The bullpen for the Nationals was in full effect yesterday, and they were god-awful, and they've been the worst bullpen in the majors this year. The offense did cool off finally. 3 runs there in their last game, but 7, 15, and 6 over their last few before that. Over the course of the year, they're 20th in runs scored and 22nd in slugging percentage, so they had to cool off. Eventually, this team wasn't going to hit the cover off the ball forever. So we'll see what they can do here against the Marlins, who needed that win after struggling there for a bit. They're now 12 games below 500. Although, they've been better than I thought they'd be. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Ryan Weathers, who is also coming off the IL. He was dealing with, what was he dealing with? A lat. Yeah, that was not great. He's 1-1 on the year, a 3.28 ERA. He also was throwing the ball relatively well before his injury. We'll see what he can do in this matchup against the Nationals. Obviously, he hasn't faced them this year, hasn't pitched since back in early June. So we'll see how that looks. The Marlins bullpen, while they were good yesterday, has not been good over the course of the year. That's very, very much a true statement. And the offense, 8, 5, 7, 5, 2, and 3 over their last few games. I mean, they've been around MLB average at the plate this season, and like I said, a better team than I would have expected coming into this year, but still not really an offense that I'm that scared of, although maybe in this situation, they're going to be fine. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Nationals are plus 105, the Marlins are minus 130. We've got a total of 8.5. Washington's 31 and 43 on the road, 39, 30, and 5 to the over on the road. The Marlins are 33 and 41 at home, 37, 36, and 1 to the under at home. Couple things I like in this game. I do think over 8.5 has some merit. A couple starters coming off the IL. I doubt they'll both be great. If you asked me to guess which one is going to be great, I would say it's going to be Ryan Weathers. So I will take the Marlins here at minus 130, but I think the over is probably a little bit better value. Cruising right along here, guys. We're looking at the Detroit Tigers going to New York to take on the Yankees. The Tigers are 84 and 62 on the season, have won the first 2 games of the series, and they made it look easy, winning 12-2 and 11-1. They're going to try to back that up with a win here for Tyler Holton. He hasn't figured out a result this year. He's sporting a 3.80 ERA. He is a bullpen guy, obviously, so we're going to see a bullpen start here from the Detroit Tigers. Now, last year, that looked great. This year, how's it going to look? We'll see. Obviously, Holton has pitched well his last couple outings, but we'll see. We'll see what he looks like here against the Yankees. Obviously, this is a Detroit team that can feel very solid about their position right now. They've got a massive, massive lead. They're going to be in the playoffs. The last time we saw this guy go up against the Yankees, it was kind of a mixed bag, but it was also very early in the season. So we'll see what he can do, see if the Detroit bullpen can continue to be as lights out as they have been down the stretch here. The offense for the Tigers is on fire, obviously, over the first 2 games of the series. Is that going to continue? I guess we have to wait and see. I mean, Riley Green hitting the cover off the ball right now. They're 8th in the majors in runs scored, 13th in batting average, 10th in slugging percentage. So we will see how this goes. They're taking on what has to be a pretty desperate Yankees team. They're 3 games back there in the AL East. Volpe continues to have his problems. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Cam Schlittler. He's 2-3 on the year, a 3.24 ERA. He got shelled by the Toronto Blue Jays his last time out. Not exactly a great look. It feels like the kid has just been amazing against the terrible teams. Then when he faces somebody good, it gets a little bit sketchy. Now, do the Tigers qualify as somebody good? Well, after the way they've hit the ball the first 2 games of the series, I guess they have to. So we'll see what Schlittler can do out there, see what that Yankees bullpen can do. Obviously, they're not having the best time here lately. All the way up to a 4.54 bullpen ERA. That is pretty horrifying stuff. The offense only scoring 3 runs through the first 2 games of the series is not what they had in mind. They're still first in runs scored, in first in slugging percentage, but they are not killing it at the plate right now. So unfortunately, no numbers to look at for this game. Detroit, they're 38-33 on the road. They're a significant over team on the road. The Yankees are 43-31 at home, 39-32-2 to the under at home. There's a good chance we're going to be on the Yankees in this game. It doesn't feel great to run it back on a team that let you down so badly the day before, but I'm not abandoning ship yet. I think we'll see a good start from Schlittler. I think we're going to see Tyler Holton and the Detroit bullpen struggle, so I think this is a spot the Yankees get one back. Next up, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals heading to Cleveland to take on the Guardians. The Royals got the 4-3 win in Game 3 of this series, and they need the win in Game 4 here if they are going to find a way to, split this series. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Steven Kolek. He's 5-5 on the year, a 3.88 ERA. This is only his 3rd start since coming over there from the Padres, and he's honestly been pretty good in each of those outings. A good start back on August 30th, and then a very good start there against the Twins back on September 6th. So we'll see what he looks like here on the 11th. 7 innings, 6 hits, and 2 earned runs against the Twins is definitely something they would love to see from him again. In terms of history this year against Cleveland, he doesn't have any, so we'll see what he can do. For the Royals' sake, I'm hoping for a good start from him. Their bullpen's been excellent this year. A 3.52 bullpen ERA has not been a problem. The lack of offense has also been a problem. They've scored 4, 0, 2, and 1 over their last few games. Not great to be 28th in the majors in runs scored and 25th in on-base percentage. Clearly, an awful lot of room for improvement down the stretch here for this Royals offense. Now, they're taking on a Guardians team that had been playing great. They had won 5 in a row until their loss there in Game 3. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Gavin Williams, who's 10-5 on the year, a 3.17 ERA. His last start, 7 innings, 7 hits, only 1 run allowed there against Tampa Bay. Very good stuff in his last 2 starts. We'll see if he can continue that trend here going up against a Royals team that he had a pretty decent start against back in late July. So we'll see. I'm expecting pretty good stuff from Gavin Williams. I'm expecting the Cleveland bullpen to continue to be good. It's been excellent this year. A 3.59 bullpen ERA is not something I'm going to complain about. In terms of the offense, Cleveland not killing the ball. 3-2-10. 2, 3, and 7 over their last few games. I know that looks better, but it's just better than what they've done over the course of the year. They're 27th in runs scored, last in on-base percentage, last in batting average, and 29th in slugging percentage. This is not going to magically turn into some sort of offensive powerhouse out there. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Royals are plus 120. The Guardians are minus 145. We've got a total out there, 7.5 or 8. You can still find both numbers. The Royals, 34-37 on the road, 36, 34, and 1 to the under on the road. Cleveland's 37-34 at home, and a 500 over-under team at home. A couple plays make sense to me in this game. I think it's going to be very low scoring and very close, so you could talk me into the Royals here at plus 120 as a potential dog of the day. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. In terms of the total here, I'll definitely take under 8. I think it's great that there's still some 8s out there. Definitely take advantage of that. You could also take advantage of a no-run first inning play in this game. I think either one look very, very good to me. Next up, we're looking at the New York Mets heading to Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. The Mets have lost the first 3 games of this series. They're 76-70 on the year, and they're putting themselves in genuine danger of falling out of the playoffs altogether. It's pretty wild to see this Mets team fall off like this. They're now only 2 games up on the Giants and 2 games up on the Reds. They need to find a way to manufacture some wins here. It hasn't looked great. They've lost 11-3, 9-3, and 1-0 in this series. Throwing the ball in this one to David Peterson, who's 9-5 on the year, a 3.72 ERA. He's fresh off a mediocre start there against the Cincinnati Reds, and over his last 2 starts has looked very, very unlike his season-long numbers. The last time he faced the Phillies, he got obliterated there in late June. I'm having a hard time finding anything positive to say about David Peterson coming into this start. So we'll see what he can do, see if that Mets bullpen can figure itself out. It's been floundering down the stretch. A bullpen ERA of 4.10, not headed in the right direction. The offense also just is completely dried up in this series. 3-3-0 and 2 over their last 4 games. pretty brutal when you've got a payroll like this Mets team. They're 10th in runs scored, 10th in batting average, but swinging some of the coldest bats in the majors right now. And things aren't getting a lot easier. They're taking on a Phillies team that's now 26 games above 500. They're 10 games up on the Mets in the NL East. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Jesus Luzardo, who's 13-6 on the year, a 4.10 ERA. He comes into this game fresh off a good start there against the Marlins. The last time he faced the Mets, it didn't go so great. 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs allowed, but his last 2 outings, he's thrown the ball a lot better. So we'll see what we get from Luzardo in this one. I'm expecting him to be better. Maybe not amazing, but definitely better. The bullpen for the Phillies is always a bit of a work in progress. Down the stretch, it has not been incredible. The offense for the Phillies, 11, 9, and 1 over their last few games is very reasonable stuff. Obviously, the last 2 games hitting the cover off the ball, so we'll see what goes on here over the course of the year. Obviously, they've been an excellent team at the plate. 3rd in batting average, 9th in runs scored, 5th in on-base percentage, and they've got lots of success here against David Peterson. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Mets are plus 125. The Phillies are minus 145. We've got a total of 8.5 in this game. The Mets are 31-43 on the road, 35-32-7 to the under on the road. The Phillies are 48-23 at home. That's an MLB best mark at home. 35-32-4 to the over at home. Once again, there are a couple things I like from this game. I definitely think there's plenty of reason to take over 8.5 when you look at the history these two pitchers have against each other and how neither one of these bullpens has been good. So definitely give me a good hard look at over in this game. And I also like the Phillies. They just are dominating right now. The Mets are falling apart. Peterson has such bad history. I don't trust him to bounce back. I think there's a chance Luzardo does, but I do think over has a good, some good value in this one. And I also like the Phillies. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Angels going on the road to take on the Seattle Mariners. The Angels come into this game 69-77 on the year, fresh off a 4-3 win there against the Twins in Game 3 of that series. They're hitting the ball in Game 1 of this series against the Mariners to Jose Soriano. He's 10-10 on the year, a 4.07 ERA, fresh off a horrendous start there against the Athletics where he got blown out of the game pretty quickly. We'll see if he can bounce back here going up against the Mariners, a team that he hasn't faced since back in July. And he was pretty good in that outing. A 3-2 extra inning win there for the Angels. So we'll see what he can do. The Angels bullpen's been atrocious. The offense hasn't been amazing lately, although they did have that 12-run game against the Twins. But over the course of the year, they're 20th in runs scored, 29th in batting average. I'm not about to be bragging about the Angels at the plate. So we'll see what they can do here against the Mariners, who need every win they can get. They're currently tied up in the top of the ninth with the Cardinals. So they're, playing at home. They're not going to have to travel or anything like that. But they've won 4 in a row. They're trying to make it 5 in a row. We'll see if they can make that dream a reality here as they hand the ball to Bryce Miller, who's 4-5 on the year, a 5.53 ERA. His last couple starts have been excellent, and they have needed them as they are very much in the wild card and in the race to win that AL West. Bryce Miller, good starts against Atlanta and Cleveland. We'll see what he can do against the Angels. The last time he faced them was back in early June, and he wasn't great, but that was right before hitting the IL. So I'm willing to give him something of a pass for that. The Mariners bullpen has not been amazing down the stretch. It's been okay. A 3.80 bullpen ERA isn't the end of the world, but what's really carried them recently has been the bats. I know they've only scored 1 run in their current game, but 5, 4, 18, and 10 over the few games before that looks really good. They're 11th in the majors in runs scored. They're 11th in slugging percentage, and having Cal Raleigh out there, definitely a major plus. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Angels are plus 150. The Mariners are minus 170. We've got totals in this game of 7.5 or 8. The Angels are 32-39 on the road, 36-33-2 to the over on the road. The Mariners are 43-27 at home, 35-31-4 to the over at home. I don't think over 7.5 is bonkers in this game. I don't necessarily love it, but I think it's playable. I also think the Mariners probably going to figure out how to win this one. Soriano's history against them is pretty bleak, and the way he's thrown the ball recently is bad, but I'm not showing a ton of value on this game. Last but not least here, guys, we have the Colorado Rockies heading to San Diego to take on the Padres. The Rockies and Dodgers are playing right now, and it's not looking great here for these Colorado Rockies. They're down 4-0. They're going to hand the ball in this one to McCade Brown. This young 25-year-old's 0-3 on the year with a 12.54 ERA. He's gotten shelled by the Padres, the Cubs, and the Pirates, and now he's got to go back up against the Padres. We'll see. We'll see what he looks like. I'm not expecting good stuff from him or the Rockies bullpen, which is one of the worst 2 bullpens in the majors. The offense has been terrible. 0 runs through 7 innings in their current game. 2, 1, and 1 in their games before that. This team is a laughing stock. They're the worst team in the majors. They've been historically bad. They're 29th in runs scored and 29th in on-base percentage. I've got nothing good to say about the Rockies, who are 40 and 105 this year. Now, they're taking on a Padres team that's only 2.5 games back of the Dodgers. They've lost 2 out of 3 against the Reds. Now they got to go back up against the Rockies, who they just won 2 out of 3 against. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Randy Vasquez, who's 4-6 on the year, a 3.91 ERA. Coming off a solid start against the Rockies, he had to pitch out of a lot of trouble, giving up 8 hits over his 6 innings, but struck out 3, gave up a couple earned runs, and a 10-8 win there for the Padres. So they'll take what they can get from him. He has thrown the ball okay down the stretch, and they're not shy about taking him out of the game. And if they do yank him out of there, that's great news for us because the Padres bullpen's been the best bullpen in the majors by a pretty significant margin here in the back half of the season. So I'm expecting good stuff from their pitching staff in general, and I'm expecting a bounce back of sorts here from their offense. After struggling there against the Reds, they get a chance to go up against a terrible starter they've already had tons of success against this season. The Padres 8th in batting average, 9th in on-base percentage this season. I think they're due for a big offensive game. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Rockies are plus 200. The Padres are minus 250. We've got a total of 8.5 in this game. The Rockies are only 17-53 on the road, 42-26-2 to the under on the road. The Padres are 44-26 at home, 38-29-3 to the under at home. I'm not interested in the total in this game, but I will definitely take the Padres here at minus 250. This could definitely be our lock of the day. I think the Rockies just playing out the end of a very, very just terrible season. The Padres need every single win they can get for the wild card and for the National League West chase. Give me the Padres in this one. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I appreciate everyone for watching these videos. You can click the link in the description to check out StumpTheSpread.com. Get over there, get on that free email newsletter. It's great value. Check out the free picks over there. And also check out the premium top confidence picks. A ton of work goes into those every single day, and hopefully coming up on a back-to-back winning day kind of situation. So definitely get in on that if you're interested, and we'll see you guys right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.